One of my favorite things about this job is no day is the same as the day before. You never know who's gonna call, who's on the other end of that call, or what's behind a door. This house was that call. We're at 639 West Schubert, a unicorn property on the border of Lincoln Park and Lakeview. And our clients reached out to us because they knew we were experts in Lincoln Park. They knew we were experts in renovations, and what everyone was wondering, is this house a tear down or is this a renovation? I want to bring you inside and show you all the really amazing features of this home. Let's go take a look. So we listed this house at $535,000, which is an insane price for the location. If you're in Chicago, Lincoln Park, Lakeview, you can't even buy dirt that cheap. We're going to walk you through some of the changes that we help paint a picture for when buyers were walking through to turn this into a home that's 1.2 million and higher. Let's go take a look. So the first thing to take note is that we're on a really wide lot. We're on a 33 by 50 foot lot. In Chicago, you have 25 by 125 lots, which end up having a bowling alley kind of skinny, long and narrow feel. So what I would do to make this home feel even wider and so you really experience the full width, you're gonna open up all the walls to update the electrical, the plumbing, and put in heating and cooling. So what I would do is when you're coming into your front door, I would blast all of this out so that as soon as you come in, you have room for a mudroom, but you feel how wide the home is from side to side. This is a decorative fireplace that probably functioned at one point because in the basement we saw the gas valve that's turned off. I would knock all of this out so that it's open, and with this archway, I hope someone would preserve it, but if you needed to get rid of it, I'd move it over here and have a decorative fireplace. And it's a way of preserving what was here, but also turning it into something new. And who doesn't want a fireplace in Chicago for the cold weather?
So as you blow out this wall to make this grand entrance, probably put a closet over here. We're talking about repurposing in this home, and we can notice that these old gas lamps, which I love the little valves right here, have been repurposed, wired, and turned into electric lamps. Now, this room used to have a wall right here where I'm standing. This lines up with the division between the living room and the dining room. So I'd probably put this wall back in here. Maybe you have some French doors. And then I'd love to see these walls over here covered in bookshelves, right? Probably make this door a nice pocket sliding double door. That way you can expand your great dining room if you want to, if you're having a big holiday party. And you're gonna end up with a lot of millwork that is beautiful and priceless basically today that you can use for mantelpieces, for decorative pieces. Please keep all this stuff. Just imagine if you could slide these doors open that are over here and you could have a table for 12 going across into a nice parlor.
And one of the other really great features that Joe and I were looking at, you do have a bathroom on the other side of the wall. So in modern times, everybody wants to have a guest bedroom, but a work from home office. Having a study, parlor / guest bedroom with a Jack and Jill ensuite or even a hidden pocket door in the bookcase that opens up to a bathroom would be a really great detail. And we know from working in Chicago, North Shore all the way to the South Side, people will look for homes that are not cookie cutter and unique. And so while I quoted a home could be worth over 1.2, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I think that you could really maximize the value in this property by doing the things that Joe's talking about, repurposing the lights, the millwork, maybe having a gallery wall with all the hardware on the doors if you're not able to salvage it in the new doors for the future home.
In keeping with the theme of repairing and restoring rather than replacing, I like to talk about things in these old homes that should certainly be restored and reused moving forward. Something like a cast iron clawfoot tub that will last forever and create many a warm evening in Chicago. But everything in this bathroom, there are so many fine details that were so well made, down to the hinges on the doors that would be so beautifully integrated into the new home. And ideally, we'll see a lot of these, well into the future, and the new owners will be able to celebrate their story and the history of the charm and whimsy of this original house. And moving into the kitchen, which was pretty bare bones, as it were, there's a lot of opportunity to essentially start from scratch which is kind of not speaking to the home's history. There are so many colors throughout the house that would be really well integrated into the home, potentially with new cabinetry in this butter yellow or in the seafoam green or the beautiful purple, just to kind of pull the history of this home into its future, which can really add to the depth and spirit of a house.
So this kitchen, as Catherine mentioned, is pretty bare bones. There was an artist that lived here and he used this home as a studio, had a hot plate. So really you have lots of options. What we did for the buyers walking through is painted a picture of what we would do. So because we're on that wide lot, you actually have a side entrance on your left and on your right. So what we recommend people explore the idea of knocking out this wall behind us and making some sliding patio doors. Follow me in here. It's a nice marriage between the yellow and the purple. So we'd knock this wall out. We put huge glass windows and sliding doors that would open up to a patio and deck that could wrap around from left to right. One of the really cool features in this home that I didn't even notice until I was walking through a couple of times, there's a pass-through door that opens up to a side yard. And so if you just have a vision with me, you have a beautiful sunroom breakfast nook with light pouring in. You open up this door, you have a deck, and it opens up to your beautiful side yard. This little nook in the home is so special. People would come in here and they tour the home and come back and notice something different. So aside from this pass-through door here, there's original millwork that's blended perfectly with some found objects. Actually, I didn't know this until a buyer who's a cuckoo clock aficionado told us that these pieces here are repurposed from vintage cuckoo clocks. And then if you look up at the ceiling, you'll see some knobs that are the top of stair posts that are put on the ceiling. You have some shutters that are right here. And one of my favorite features that I am not entirely sure is for tying your shoes, but when you're coming down the stairs, this little piece to just boop, boop, boop. But we also feel like this staircase used to go in two different directions. So the paint is here to honor the space where the stairs would come this way or this way. And if you're on the other side of the room in the dining room, you can actually see in the plaster the patchwork of where that door was.
In Chicago, especially in neighborhoods like Lincoln Park, space is a premium. So being creative with a single family home can really do favors for you. A lot of homeowners in Chicago will repurpose their attic, for instance. This is a really funky and cool repurposed attic. I love being up here. This is where the old homeowner, the artist, had his studio and his bedroom and a bathroom. There's a lot of room for development up here, but I do love the bare bones of it and the exposed rafters. There's even a decorative dragon that's been painted to match the room and just really pull the whole space together. I love exploring these spaces because they differ so much from home to home. And when you have a single family home and a single family, really families are looking for 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So, you know, having space to have extra bedrooms and a bathroom up on the attic level really does a lot for resale value. There's a lot of opportunity up here for dormering the roof to give more space for bathrooms. There's a tiny bathroom here behind the knee wall that the homeowner had been using, but I think that there's a lot of opportunity for growth and still maintaining the amazing vibe that's up on this top floor of this home.
When you're renovating older homes and you're trying to get more space, you want to do what you can to preserve the facade and the front elevation. So I would keep this peaked roof. You have the rafters here, but you have plenty of space. These closets are huge on both sides. Right now they're called knee walls. What I would do is wall this off and turn these into 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the idea, Camille, of having 2 bedrooms out here. You can see how each one would end up with a window if you preserve this front facade. And there's some really cool furniture that was left over by this incredibly creative artist who owned this property. I'd love to take some of these flat files and tuck them into the knee wall for some built-in storage in there. I'd like to take some of these like iron grate that are around, the molding. When you look up at the ceiling, like there's details everywhere. This is a gold mine for people that have a creative vision, and this house is just ripe for the picking.
This is sort of a bonus lofted space connecting where the 2 bedrooms would be and then a future primary suite. Here's where I would dormer. When you're on the sidewalk, you won't see that you've blasted out these walls, made them taller. As Catherine mentioned, there is this funky bathroom with a clawfoot tub. I would leave it in here, and a toilet, and you've got your plumbing stacked right in here. But if you dormer, you're able to bump out these walls and make room for either 2 full bathrooms or 1 full bathroom and a powder room for your primary suite. So just picture this wall here. We came up through the stairs right over here. Probably would reintroduce where you're coming up on the staircase to this side, so you'd still have this sort of reading nook, mini TV area, lounge space between your 2 bedrooms, and then you would be turning this into your primary suite, where you could fit in a king-size bed, have a morning kitchen, but you have tons of ceiling height, lots of natural light, again, because the setbacks of the adjacent building are not interfering with the natural light coming into the home, and you even have space for a walk-in closet.
Yeah, my mind is just racing with all the possibilities that these unique ceiling structures up here are presenting. Like, to have the detail above these details, it's so cool, and it's something that you just don't see, and one of the reasons that we loved listing this property. It's so cool.
So thanks for walking through this really special home and for entertaining me with all the ideas we have to renovate. But what I really want to know, now that you've heard our ideas and seen the space, would you renovate or would you tear it down? Let us know by dropping a comment. If you want to find out about more 639 West Schuberts, we often work with really special homes like this. Do what the kids are doing, like, subscribe, follow, and we'll catch you at the next one.